sign of company.
Tonight on CTV3 News, SI-62 is taken to court for an interim injunction. The Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association and the Progressive Sugarcane Producers Association speak out against SI-62. They claim it is bad for business and could lead to Tate and Lyle pulling out from buying fair trade sugar that hails from Belize. Oil rigs spotted off the coast of Belize, but don't panic, it is not here to drill. And 18 Orange Kenyans graduate from a 2-week business process outsourcing job preparedness training. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Thursday, June 1st, 2023.
Special guest in the audience tonight, legendary record executive, Mr. Clive Davis.
My voice is gone.
What?
You start the show tonight. No talking back. I'm your mother.
There's a boy I know. He's the one I dream of.
What's your name again?
Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Wake up! Okay, it's on. It's on. Listen.
And he really loves me.
My dream. Sing what I want to sing. Be how I want to be.
I say a prayer with every heartbeat.
Reach as big an audience as I can.
A common criticism of you, your music isn't black enough.
Look, I don't know how to sing black, and I don't know how to sing white either. I know how to sing.
I might have just heard the greatest voice of her generation.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's got to have a hook.
The hook?
Yeah.
I'll give it a hook.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have him on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3. They're on fire! Chiladas. Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat. From Snackers, done right, done here.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sattler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move.
Appreciating the reality of aging hospital infrastructure countrywide, while bearing in mind the increasing risk of hurricanes and floods, this UP administration has ramped up efforts to secure capital for new hospital infrastructure to be established in strategic locations. Earlier this year, we were most pleased to secure a $32 million grant from our partner, the Republic of China, Taiwan, to build a new hospital in San Pedro to serve Ambergiski and Kikaka. $32 million. Again, the UDP, they claim they put it into their budget for about 3 years, boasting that they will build the San Pedro Hospital. It was never built. It is going to be built by the People's United Party government.
Good evening. With your news also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7, I am Joanna Rodriguez. A decision on whether an interim injunction will be issued on Statutory Instrument 62, which makes provisions within the sugar industry requiring any entity wishing to export out or import sugar into Belize must obtain a license from the Sugar Industry Control Board, is expected to be handed down today as the challenge filed by BSI ASR was heard in court. As we reported on Tuesday, the challenge, which also lists the Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association as a claimant, is being made against 4 defendants, including the Attorney General, the Minister of Agriculture, the Sugar Industry Control Board, and the Controller of Supplies. It is noted that as it stands, the deadline provided by the Sugar Industry Control Board to apply for export licenses is set for tomorrow, Friday, June 2nd. As the industry anxiously awaits that decision to be handed down, we asked Prime Minister John Briseno for his reaction to the whole challenge filed by BSI ASR. While it falls in their right to challenge the regulations, the PM says the matter is simple and exporters should simply provide the necessary information and move on.
A bit disappointed because, as Minister Mai has explained, that basically the licensing process, that was already a part of the Act from 2001, and now they believe that the time has come to be able to get that part of the Act working. And it's simply to be able to get the necessary information as to when BSI and also Santander want to export, they get the application for a license and they'll get their license. And as I'm told, they need to be able to just provide information as to who they're selling. I think it's much ado about nothing.
As mentioned, filing as claimants for the injunction of Statutory Instrument 62 is the Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association. While the association does not export or import sugar, they are concerned about Section 16 of the new legislation, which imposes a compulsory requirement punishable with fines and imprisonment that BSI ASR collect from third-party buyers and distribute premiums benefits on a quarterly basis to certified producers to whom premiums are due based on the respective volume of sugarcane delivered to the mill by each certified producer and sold by them to those third-party buyers. This, according to the claimants in this case, both BSI, ASR, and the CSEPA, is in breach of the claimant's right to privacy, protection of law, protection from discriminatory treatment, and is therefore unconstitutional, null, and void. But it seems that it is not only the CSEPA that is in disagreement with SI 62. Today, via Zoom press conference from their headquarters in Orange Walk, the Progressive Sugarcane Producers Association, flanked by representatives of the CSCPA, including its chairman Vladimir Puk, spoke to the media about the concerns they have in regard to the new legislation and how it affects them, in particular Section 16. According to both associations, Section 16 of the new legislation can have serious repercussion when it comes to fair trade premiums, since political interference can lead to Tate and Lyle, the buyers of Belize's fair trade sugar, and the one paying out the fair trade premiums, to pull out and seek other sources to obtain fair trade sugar. Both associations are also concerned that GOB's move to implement SI 62 can lead to desertification.
That legislation, it speaks about the premiums, right? And we are very concerned because those premiums, fair trade gives us, because of our merits work, hard work with the cane farmers, and they are not very well satisfied whenever there is government interference, right? In many other countries, fair trade has been lost whenever that happens. So we are very concerned about that. For the past 7 years, I can say for CSCPA, and I can speak also about Progressive, we were born the same year. We have been certified since 2016, and we have been having a very good relationship with Tate and Lyle, them paying our premiums. So I don't see why there has to be legislation to accommodate, to satisfy biggest association who at the moment does not have a long-term commercial agreement, which is something that fair trade requires for you to have a very good standing relations with them now and be able to get your premiums.
But according to the standards of fair trade, the buyer, in this case Tate and Lyle, can hand over the premiums to the conveyor, in this case BSI, ASR, to distribute the premiums directly to the associations. But both entities prefer for the methods of payment used now to remain in place and for government to focus on other sections of the sugar industry that need improvements.
Directors from an association are saying that we are enjoying premium from their association. And this is one of the reasons we called for this interview, really to make the people aware that we are getting premium all our sugars that are produced for Progressive, not for someone else's sugar. What used to happen before, out of the 100,000 tons of sugar that was produced, we used to qualify for 23%, which was not the entire amount of sugar that we produce as an association. Right now, only 3 associations are getting premium. The entire production of sugar from Progressive qualifies for premium. Hence the reason we got double the amount premium this past year. For example, if 40,000 tons of cane is sold under fair trade premium, we were getting premium for 13,500 tons of sugar, when we actually produced 25,000 tons of sugar. Now, last year, we got our full premium for the entire amount of sugar that we sold. That's the thing we want to bring to the people. But we are enjoying premium that is ours. If we would be getting premium from someone else, definitely that can lead to the certification from the mill and the producers. So
And in regard to the other section of the SI that directly affect BSI, ASR, or any other exporter or importer of sugar, the CSCPA says it is sending a wrong message.
If I would be an investor in a country where I have to apply for every year for me to sell after I have invested 200 or 300 million dollars, and every year I have to ask for requests for permission to sell sugar abroad, I think I would think twice before doing so.
An oil rig was spotted off the coast of Belize, prompting immediate concern among some residents and environmentalists in our country. Shortly after reports of the rig began to appear online, the Belize Port Authority issued a notice stating, and we quote, Belize Port Authority wishes to advise Belizeans that the semi-submersible drilling unit MV Frida 1 is calling at the Belize City Port today, June 1st, 2023, for the purpose of replenishing stores and will be conducting inbound and outbound clearances while at anchor outside of English Key. Because of its draft restrictions, the ship will not enter the Belize City Harbor. The Frida 1 will be in port for approximately 6 hours before it returns to Mexico. The public is advised that the vessel will not be conducting any works while in Belizean waters, and all border authorities are aware and have granted authorization. This is normal maritime practice, and Belize is bound to respond to the maritime community. Oceana Belize also took to social media to express its concern over the situation, adding, and we quote, it was unfortunate that no advance notice was shared with the maritime community on this matter to address the concerns that were inevitably created by such a sight in local waters. Furthermore, this incident does illustrate how quickly things can happen if Belizeans are not meaningfully involved in the decision-making process. If any government wants to lift the offshore oil moratorium, end quote. During an interview with Prime Minister John Briceño here in Orange Walk Town, he also commented on the matter, adding that Belize remain committed to conservation efforts in our waters, and this matter simply comes down to Belize being a good neighbor.
This oil rig that's in Mexico, because of the licensing requirements of the country, they are required to leave the country, even if it's just for a few hours. And so what they have done, they have asked permission from the Port Authority for them just to come into Belizean waters, and I think they should be leaving either by this evening or this morning, or by tomorrow morning, to go back into Mexico. When I hear some of the comments from some of the NGOs, I'm very disappointed in them. I think they should act more responsibly and more maturely about what we're doing. There's nothing, we're just being a good neighbor in assisting Mexico, who is a good friend to Belize, in their licensing process. These people, it's just equipment. They're not bringing oil, they're not bringing anything that they could pollute our waters. But again, I want to assure the Belizean people that we would never make such decision without consulting and informing the Belizean people. That is part of Plan Belize. That's what we promised the Belizean people, and we're going to stick by it.
The Ministry of Blue Economy and Civil Aviation, BMECA, today also issued a release addressing the concerns raised on social media about the recent sighting of the drilling rig. The release adds, and we quote, the ministry reiterated its strong commitment to safeguarding marine reserves and Belize's maritime area, end quote. The ministry says it acknowledges the concerns surrounding offshore oil drilling and emphasizes that there is an ongoing moratorium on such activities in Belize. Today is the first official day of the Atlantic hurricane season, and it's already off to an active start. Tropical Depression 2 has formed in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico. Although the storm is expected to remain offshore and will be weak and short-lived, it will enhance rainfall over Florida, which could lead to flooding. Thunderstorms in the Gulf of Mexico associated with an area of low pressure have increased and become better organized during the overnight hours. The disturbance is expected to drift southward over the next couple of days, and landfall of the storm is not expected. If Tropical Depression 2 does strengthen into a tropical storm, it will still be the first named storm of the season and will be given the name Arlene. The hurricane season runs from June 1st to November 30th every year. This year's forecast is that tropical cyclone activity would be relatively normal between 12 to 17 named storms and anywhere from 5 to 9 hurricanes and 1 to 4 becoming major hurricanes. According to the Met Office, two main factors that may influence this year's Atlantic hurricane season are a moderate to high chance that El Nino will develop during this year's hurricane season. This factor will likely contribute to the suppression of tropical cyclone activity in the Atlantic basin, and a moderate to high chance that El Nino will develop during this year's hurricane season. This factor will likely contribute to the suppression of tropical cyclone activity in the Atlantic basin. This means that one or more of the 12 to 17 named storms forecasted for this season may impact the country. Cabinet approval of $1 million Belize in subsidies for the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association to be used for fertilizer to improve crop yield is not sitting too well with the leadership of the Corozal Sugarcane Producers Association and the Progressive Sugarcane Producers Association. Today, the chairman of the CACPA and the general manager of the PSCPA told the media their membership should also get a fair chance of the pie.
Well, I am very happy for them because at the end of the day, we are all in farmers, one industry that they have received and from the government. And we will also like to take this opportunity to voice out to the government that we are also farmers that are being affected by various other reasons, no? Pests and the weather, climate change. And we would like to enjoy also those money, since it's money from our country, from our tax.
Cabinet made the decision after a full discussion on the sugar industry and the revelation that for 2 years, the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association, BSCFA, had not benefited from premiums derived from fair trade amounting to approximately $3 million. Coming up next, BTEC and the Office of Prime Minister joined forces to push forward more employees for the BPO sector. Stay tuned.
If you're lucky, no matter what life hands you, you can always count on your closest friends to be there. Oh, thank you. My purse was exhausted. We are all blissfully unaware when our lives are about to change.
Life is full of surprises.
I'm ready to lose my virginity.
Excuse me?
I got the list.
What list?
There's a whole brouhaha at school about this MILF list.
For real?
Our lunchtime fodder is not usually this lowbrow, I swear.
Really? Who have you been eating with?
It's a big step up for Che and me.
I've been having exit out of grief sex. It's just sex.
Through all the chance that you've been out there, men have feelings too.
Life's too short not to try something new. And just like that, I realized some things are better left in the past. But maybe not everything.
Come on!
Central Snack. When hungry or craving, when laughter or tears, enjoy the best snacking or flavors are here. Asadas, mocadas, chiladas, doradas, delicious for snacking, done right and done here. Central Snackers.
Done right, done here.
LG dual inverter compressor cools air faster by operating at speeds as high as 120 Hz with more stability compared to conventional models. It also saves up to 70% more energy by operating at speeds as low as 10 Hz with more stability. It reduces torque vibration down to 40% for quiet outdoor unit operation. Stable operation with low vibrations also results in increased durability.
18 proud Orange Okeños today graduated from a 2-week business process outsourcing job preparedness training. The training program was made possible through a collaboration with BTEC, an arm of Beltrade, along with support from the Office of the Prime Minister and the Orange Walk Central Office. During the 2-week program, participants learned a number of skills to help them develop their work ethic within the BPO sector, which continues to be one of the largest employers in our country. The program includes training in areas such as computer literacy, customer service, sales, and even leadership and self-esteem, all important pillars within the BPO sector.
This particular training is called a job preparedness training because it's geared at preparing participants to enter the labor force, equip them with the necessary employability skills to succeed. Now, in this particular instance, this job preparedness training is geared towards the business process outsourcing industry, which is the BPO. We all know that it's a growing industry and it's one of the second highest employer currently in the country. Therefore, these participants were equipped during a course of 2 weeks with soft skills and technical skills to be able to successfully succeed in the labor force. Now, when I'm referring to soft skills, I'm referring to attitudes and behaviors that could be shaped to be able to be an asset in the labor force. And when we're looking at technical skills, we're looking at best practices in the BPO industry that can complement and let a participant succeed if they decide to start working, let's say, on Monday. So we're looking at computer literacy, we're looking at sales tactic, customer service. These are all things that BPO agents need in order to be successful.
As part of the program, Beltrade has also partnered with local BPOs to allow their graduates the opportunity to work within the sector and utilize the skills and training received during the program.
Beltrade alone cannot stand. Therefore, we definitely got in contact with the local centers, in particularly Radical Center, and of course Alta Resources, which is actually based in Belize City, but they're currently looking at expanding their employment reach, and that's the reason they partner with us, because they're looking for bilingual agents to be able to fill in positions as sales agents and of course customer service agents. So that collaboration is necessary to ensure the continuity and the sustainability of this project, because we can do the training, but it's important to measure success. How many of these participants will start job on Monday? So I think the connection between the private sector and the public sector here is important to ensure success for this training program.
As part of the program, participants will also receive long-term support from Beltrade to ensure that they are able to successfully integrate into the country's workforce and utilize the skills afforded to them.
I think that's very interesting to see how the participants grow throughout the 2 weeks, because normally trainings are done 2 to 3 days, 1 or 2 days. This training is particularly intensive and comprehensive because it's equipping them with more than 25 areas of expertise, which will be necessary for them to succeed. So we had a total of 18 participants. 14 of them are actively seeking employment. So these are the 14 participants that we're referring for interviews tomorrow to be able to start working as soon as possible with either Alta Resource or Radical Center. Of course, they have been key in collaborating with us. Participants, as I shared earlier, started a bit timid, doubtful. Most of them are young professionals who are looking to start off their career. So I think it's important to emphasize that when you start a training, the level of confidence sometimes can be down. And we saw their growth, we saw their rapport, their articulation when speaking, presenting, and using different techniques that we've captured or covered during these 2 weeks. Also, importantly, when we're looking at the technical skills, they definitely have been very immersed in that aspect. As I shared, some of the participants started typing 25 words per minute, and by the end of the session, they were all the way up to 65 words per minute, which is a fairly rapid speed if you're working in the BPO sector. So these are some of the things that we saw growth in them, and we want to continue also working with them after this. So the relationship that we have established with them does not end today. We'll continue doing follow-ups to ensure that they have been placed in a job, that if they're not placed, where can else employment be provided to them.
Ensuring that women and young people get a fair share of the economic pie in our country, according to Prime Minister John Briceño, is of top priority. And so, supporting a program such as this falls in line with the goals of GOB and Plan Belize.
As we said in Plan Belize, that we want to make sure that we can create opportunities for all Belizeans. And the quickest way to do that is by getting the private sector involved, to be able to get customer investment, to get investment confidence back in Belize. And we have seen that over the past 2.5 years. In these short 2.5 years, unemployment has gone down from 30% to 5%. Yes, there are still a lot of people that can't get a job, but we have to be able to find ways how we can train them so that they can be able to get a meaningful job. And that's exactly what we're doing today here in Orange Walk Central, partnering with Beltrade and their training arm. What we've been doing now is to be able to train our people so that when they start working at a BPO, they can quickly be able to rise to the top and then to be able to get a better job. This is Plan Belize in action. This is Plan Belize working for the benefit of everyone.
Jasmine Banyos is one of the proud graduates. Having successfully completed the 2-week program, she says that she now has the tools and confidence to maneuver the country's workforce and become successful not only within the BPO sector but in other sectors in the country.
I came in with an open mind, ready to grasp as much information as possible. What I got in return was beyond what I imagined. The training emphasized in simple yet key areas, such as the importance of having a positive attitude, strong values, high self-esteem, great leadership skills, professionalism, teamwork, stress, and time management, just to name a few. We covered a whole lot. We not only covered the customer service experience, but also we embarked in sales, an area which is feared by many. Did you know that 80% of the income is being earned by just 20% of the working force? 80% of the income is being earned by just 20% of the working force. And do you know what that 20% comprises of? Well, it comprises of the sales representatives. These are the people who are making the big bucks. The training has given me the courage to take up the challenge in venturing into sales management, something I used to run from. You would tell me to ask somebody to buy a raffle and tell me, no, okay, sure, no problem. That's it. I won't persuade you to buy it. You told me no, fine. But I learned that there are ways how you can convince someone in a very professional and polite way. All in all, this training provided vast amount of knowledge and exposure. As the days progressed, I realized that those of us who took the training became a team. We enhanced our skills and learning, rendered assistance to each other, provided feedback and encouragement, all for the sake of respect and care. Most of us are actively seeking employment, and taking this training has given us hope to getting employed, as we now are equipped with new knowledge and skills. And for this, I say thank you.
Similar trainings are also being carried out in different parts of the country. Sugar industry stakeholders met earlier this week to discuss the way forward for the remainder of the 2023 sugarcane crop season, which is expected to come to a close sometime in the month of June. In an interview with Cane Farmer Relations Manager for BSI ASR, Olivia Aviles, today, She once more reiterated the sentiments of the Sugar Industry Control Board and the BACFA in saying that the industry is currently working towards ensuring that all standing cane is delivered to the mill, especially considering the high cane prices which are being manifested internationally.
The numbers collected really indicated that we have around 104, 105,000 tons of cane left. If they were able to bring in that cane on a 7,000 ton grinding rate, we would be through a lot quicker. So it is about the management of cane supply and milling capacity. In this case, the milling capacity is at 7,000. We are able to mill that. We have milled that through the crop, but they are unable to supply that for the day. We agreed to also have a meeting on Monday again to see how much has been milled and to keep working together to ensure that all the cane possible comes in. The prices of sugar cane at the moment are really good, and so there should be no reason why cane should stand over, really. Farmers should be cooperating with each other to help bring in the cane that is available. DSI itself has put out assistance, a service assistance for both manual and mechanical harvesting if there are farmers who wish to subscribe to that program.
Thus far, Avila says there has been over 50 hours of downtime at the mill due to lack of cane, and thus a decision was made to adjust the milling rate to accommodate farmers and hopefully receive all the cane currently in the fields.
Currently, we've had episodes of out of cane supply, and actually we have high number of lost time due to that. Over 40 hours this year due to out of cane supply, and this is because the farmers are really having challenges with labor shortages. So this is the issue that we have been facing every weekend. We seem to be running out of cane, specifically during the weekend when they have issues with labor. So that is the reason why the meeting was called, to understand from farmers, one, how much cane available how much cane we have available at the moment, and also to understand how they can get that delivered. And what the farmers are saying is that they are unable to meet the grinding rate requirement, which is at 7,000 tons of cane at the moment. Per day? So, per day, right? Okay. So we're able to mill 7,000 tons of cane, but they are not able to deliver that. So that is what is causing the out of cane supply, really. And what was discussed was to lower the grinding rate, really, to cope with the cane supply. It was agreed to balance the cane supply and the milling rate. So, for example, yesterday we milled about 5,800 tons, and so the milling rate is being managed to cope with the cane supply.
Municipal elections are a few months away, and at this time, both major political parties have started to crank their machinery into gear as they prepare to hit the campaign trail. Earlier this week, opposition leader Shine Barrow spoke on his party's confidence going into these elections, which he predicts will mark a major shift for the United Democratic Party, who secured only a few seats in the last elections. In responding to his political adversary, today Prime Minister John Briceño also expressed his confidence in the upcoming elections, citing his government's track record since taking office in 2020.
Like in everything, especially certainly with us, we have been busy governing and doing the work of the government, wanting to rescue this country, to rescue the economy, and start to try to move this country in the right direction. We have done that. But now we have to prepare for an election. We believe that our councils have generally been doing a good job. And I do believe that we are going to work as hard as we possibly can to get to all of the councils re-elected. But we know, Belizeans have that right to decide whether they want the same group to come back or not. That's their decisions. That's a part of the democratic process. But one thing I could assure you, that the People's United Party is going to win the majority of the municipalities in this country.
Thank you very much, sir.
A group of young people hailing from the north are winning off a dance competition. They are Zaidi Veos, Alanis Arana, Alicia Reyes, Melida Sabido, Ramon Che, and Victor Casanova from the Corozal district, who triumphantly placed first in the European Union Creative Arts Competition under the dance category for the age group 18 years and older. Joanna Magania, organizer of the dance group, says the work has been phenomenal and the message of how climate change is affecting Belize resounded in the entirety of the winning entry.
We have done a number of projects for quite some time that we are very proud to bring forth. Now, this particular project came about because a couple months ago, Victor brought to my attention this competition that the EUNU was holding. This competition basically opened the gate to many different artistic mediums, right? And one of them is dance. And the idea of this competition was that they were opening it up to using dance as the medium to present a concept, a theme, protecting beautiful Belize from climate change, right? And so the idea was you need to use your art to show how you can go about presenting not only the effects, but how can we move forward, no? And so he was very excited about doing something for that. And I remember it was early in the morning when he called me and he was like, man, anyhow, it just sparked the discussion, and he had very clear in his mind where or what it is that he wanted to do. And so apart from that process that took place between himself and myself, because Vic always comes up with these wonderful things and then he invites other people to be a part of it. It's fantastic to be able to be a part of this process and see them do things that, one, brings forth the talent of our Corozaleños, two, explores the beauty of our community. Corozal has so much to offer. And three, brings a message to the people that will be imprinted on them, because you're using art to send a message and create that awareness that we all have to kind of, be part of. Because, well, one of the things that we mentioned in our, because they asked us for a rationale or a response as to, or a caption as to why we did this. And one of the things is that, our well-being is very dependent on our environment, and the organic, that organic identity of Corozaleños and Belizeans in general is intertwined with the well-being of our environment. And so being able to put all of these elements together and send the message across, I mean, it was a fantastic experience for us,
We also spoke with Zaidi Veos, dancer of the group, who told us the entire production was completed in a matter of 2 days and they still came out at the top.
There's a lot of ideas and a lot of concepts that comes together with putting a video, and it does really take a team. So the primary thing is to have someone with an idea and with a concept, and someone like Victor who knows what he's going for, knows what he's targeting. He looks at our movements, he looks at our expressions, he guides us, and I think likewise he himself learns from us, and that makes him learn even more, because he's like, oh, we can do this now, or we can do something else. So it truly is a great experience for us, all the dancers. I'm speaking on behalf of all the dancers. It truly was a great experience to come together for this particular project, bearing in mind that we did it in such a short period, but we enjoyed every single moment of it. You know, so getting that win was really something else, you know, and we are truly proud of what he has done and truly proud that he has involved us in this entire process and many other projects that he has put out there. So I truly believe that it should be a recognition for him, a recognition for Ms. Joanna, a recognition for all of these individuals young individuals from Corozal who put together something and give their time and effort for all of these things. And like mentioned, it's not only us, the dancers, but it's the family, the parents, and community members who assist us in providing these services as video footage, because it does take a team, like I said, to do all of this.
The winning entry received a certificate of participation, $1,000 in cash, and a gift basket. A sensitization training with justice stakeholders, law enforcement officers, and healthcare professionals is taking place through the partnership of the National AIDS Commission and the Caribbean Vulnerable Communities. The training takes place today and tomorrow at the George Price Center. The project aims to provide an opportunity to institutionalize partnerships between civil society and governments to achieve and sustain effective programs that meet the needs of key populations to halt the HIV epidemic in Belize.
Okay, so today we are doing a training of healthcare workers across from the different health regions in Belize. Our objective is to sort of build their capacity to provide differentiated care and services to a range of different clients who would come into the health system. Our work is heavily around HIV and human rights, and so we are trying to help to assist the health system with strengthening the capacity of the healthcare workers to be able to deal with a lot of people or all the different groups that are affected by HIV. Last year, our focus was on the police and the defense force. So we did a series of training with the police and the defense force last year. This year, we have expanded that, and we're doing with healthcare workers, and we're doing with justice stakeholders such as magistrates and people who work in the court system and in the justice system, in addition to some additional training with the police. So our stakeholders will vary depending on the training, but our objective is to help create an environment where vulnerable groups, whichever vulnerable group, whether it is related to people who are affected by gender-based violence or sex and gender discrimination, those individuals can actually go in and have service that is quality service anchored in stigma-free and ethically sound principles.
The National AIDS Commission was essential in logistically calibrating the entire process in order to reach the project's objectives.
We know that we deal with vulnerable population when it comes to HIV and STDs, so having this training on human rights and discrimination and stigma, we noticed that these are the persons that are vulnerable to the system. So we're trying to navigate persons to be able to be comfortable going to the systems and persons providing the services to know how to deal with these vulnerable population when encountering them. We try to do as many human rights and stigma and discrimination, because stigma and discrimination comes in many forms and it's a learning curve. So these are refresher courses for some of these people. We try to do it every 3 to 4 months. And it's just important because these are the persons that we engage with all the time. So they themselves need to get a little reminder of the processes and the vulnerable communities that we deal with and so forth.
TVC's executive director says that making services accessible is important because it means then that the curbing of newly infected HIV persons can then be identified.
When we talk about vulnerability here, we're talking about people who are most likely to be affected by HIV. We talk about our women, our young people, because what we see is there are higher risks, higher prevalence of HIV among these populations. We have our sex workers, our men who have sex with men, our transgender persons. When you look at the data is showing that because of the different social vulnerabilities that they face, these groups tend to be more at risk for HIV. So that's the first thing. What are some of the things that we are doing to support the communities is that we have different programs to help them understand how to access services, whether it is health services, social protection services. We also are working with them around human rights and how they can address issues of human rights. We work with different duty bearers, such as your healthcare workers, your police, your judicial officers, to ensure that if those rights are violated, that they are able to provide redress to them, and for those who are providing services, that they are able to provide services free of stigma and discrimination.
Through this project, NAC seeks to reduce structural barriers to key population services, improve knowledge generation and use of strategic information on key populations for decision-making and advocacy by communities and other stakeholders, increase domestic resources for effective key population programming, and mobilize resources for key population organizations. On May 24, 2023, Oscar Kenya, Minister of Rural Transformation, Community Development, Labor, and Local Government, chaired the 38th special meeting of the Council for Human and Social Development, an organ of CARICOM in Georgetown, Guyana. Present at the meeting were ministers of labor and heads of delegations from CARICOM member states. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss a single agenda item related to advancing the free movement of skilled nationals in the CARICOM Single Market and Economy (CSME). The CSME economic regime enables citizens of participating member states to travel and work within the region. This regime intends to increase the pool of skills accessible throughout the region, facilitate economic integration, and foster a sense of community and solidarity among member states. The free movement of persons is a crucial element of regional integration. Roosevelt Skerrit, Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of Dominica, led the discussion, having requested for member states to evaluate proposals on the freedom of movement, which includes a gradualist approach and a full free movement approach with accommodations for certain expectations and limitations. These options will appropriately consider the sensitivities of member states and provide for exceptions and flexibilities, including the phased implementation of specific categories or exclusions when necessary, a statement from the government noted. Member countries shared their position on the options and concluded with a commitment to continue working on this important matter for CARICOM. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Friday, June 2nd, here on CTV3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at CTV3BelizeNews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at Facebook.com/CTV3BelizeNews or our YouTube channel at CTV3NewsBZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at CTV3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.